On today's Saturday news, Kenny Omega's All-In match has been revealed.
Jey Uso quits WWE.
Brock Lesnar was reportedly injured at SummerSlam.
And AEW announces Fight for the Fallen. Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? Yes, my name is Phil Chambers. I'm joined by Gareth Morgan to talk all things wrestling news. But what is up first?
Well, we gotta talk about that big old event that's happening in like 2 weeks' time, which is crazy. It is 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. My days are blurring, but it's very soon. I know that much. 2 weeks tomorrow. Madness, madness. So, with it being 2 weeks away, obviously the card is now finally taking shape. We've got a lot of incredible matches on there, but we've got a bit of news on a planned match that's definitely not going to be happening now, but it's interesting that it was potentially going to be happening at some point. And then we've got more rumours and other news on stuff that could be coming on the card, so bear with me. The first thing I'm going to talk about right now is before Bryan Danielson fractured his arm against Okada at Forbidden Door and that big old main event match, there were plans, according to Fightful Select, for a Kenny Omega Danielson rematch at All In. So just let that one sink in. There were plans there. It was being considered. And there were a lot of other things being considered at the time as well, but the AEW sources didn't really disclose what those other plans were, because if they did, they probably would have melted the internet. So that's already just a gut punch, and he's definitely not going to be at this event, obviously, because he is recovering from that broken arm. Or he might just make a spectacular comeback and just have a random impromptu match with Omega. We don't know, but I wouldn't expect it. So just stay there with your heart broken, because we've got more information coming at you now, because Dave Meltzer, in the most recent edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, he noted how right now it's looking like the rumors are suggesting that it's going to be Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and Kota Ibushi versus Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Takeshita. So that is the big old six-man that's been heavily rumoured coming into this August 27th show. And then after that, it's looking like Omega Takeshita could be an all-out possibility. So that's in Chicago. I think that is like a week later. So that's looking like something that'll have storyline developments kind of going into that. He also noted in the Observer that if the rumoured Jericho Ospreay match and the Blackpool Combat Club versus Orange Cassidy, Eddie Kingston, and another partner like contest, the rumours around them were true, they'd probably get announced, or at the very least be strongly teased very soon, because Ospreay and Kingston, they are both available for the next edition of Dynamite on Wednesday. So it's looking right now like a lot of stuff is going to go down on Dynamite. There's going to be a lot of big developments, because there kind of has to be. We are not far out now from All In. So just to unpack that, Bryan Danielson, Omega 2, and then the six-man like madness that's going down as well.
Yeah, the Omega Danielson one is a bit of a heartbreaker, because that would have been absolutely amazing on that kind of a stage. They would have gone all out. It would have been absolutely incredible. But yeah, I don't know. The six-man, it's fine, but it's just, I get it's going into that kind of WrestleMania like mindset of trying to get like as many people on the show as possible, which is good. Like getting as many people to have this moment is a really, really nice thing, and that's why like the multi-man matches come into play a bit. But I'd much rather just have a Kenny Omega singles match on the biggest stage that AEW could possibly ever have. And maybe like the Omega Takeshita, I think they'd absolutely smash it on that kind of a stage. It'd be absolutely incredible. I think like Moxley versus Orange Cassidy, just that on its own would be absolutely incredible. Like the multi-man stuff surrounding it, I think just complicates it a little bit, and just doesn't make it feel quite as special as it should be for a sort of event of this magnitude.
I'd like to know what everyone thinks of this one, though, because Twitter has been this killing itself, really. Twitter, X, whatever it's called. Everyone's got a massive opinion on this, so I want to know about everyone else's opinions in the comments, because it's a big talking point.
It is indeed. It's a very interesting one, so let us know. And more about Dynamite as well coming later on. But before that, last night was SmackDown, and Jey Uso has quit WWE, at least in the storyline, I assume, anyway. But the Bloodline main evented the show, obviously, with all the fallout from SummerSlam, and Jimmy Uso sort of turning on Jey Uso there. So Roman Reigns came out in Calgary, got all of Calgary to acknowledge him, and then Jimmy came out through the crowd to massive chants of "You sold out," and then eventually Jey came out as well to confront Jimmy and find out what the hell is going on. So Jimmy said basically that he still loves Jey, and he only did what he did because he didn't want to see Jey become the tribal chief. He didn't want him to become corrupted by that much power. In his words, he didn't want him to become like a manipulative asshole like Roman Reigns. And eventually there's a lot of Jey turned his back on Jimmy, so Jimmy sort of left the ring looking really sad and started walking up the ramp. And then Jey took out Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns after a bit of a back and forth, kicked him loads with a bunch of super kicks, hit Roman Reigns with a spear, and then shouted at Jimmy to come back. And as they were kind of running down the ramp in a sort of Baywatch style running scene, about to hug each other, just at the last minute, Jey super kicked his brother right in the goddamn face, and then he said direct into the camera that I am out of the bloodline, he's out of SmackDown, and he's out of WWE. And then he walked off through the crowd. So Jey Uso leaving it all behind, it seems.
And Jey Uso is now all in. No, maybe not. But yeah, big development. The air felt like it had left the room a little bit, I think is the way of kind of looking at this on SmackDown. It didn't feel quite as electric and like, oh my goodness, what's gonna happen next? There was a pop, there was a big old pop when Jey smacked like Roman in the face with the super kick, and when he caught Jimmy as well. And I love that. We just loaded him in. It was like, come on brother, come here, go bang, straight in the face. I love that. That was great. But we need a bit of a break, I think, from this right now. We need a bit of time away from it. And if it's looking like maybe Roman's not gonna be there for a couple of weeks, maybe Jey's not, maybe Jey, just cool it off for like a month or two, and then if you really want to keep pushing this throughout that WrestleMania season, heat it up again around the kind of just after Survivor Series or around Survivor Series, and just kick on from there. Because yeah, Dave Meltzer in particular didn't really enjoy that SummerSlam main event. I think he'd give it 2.5 stars. So that's I kind of share those sentiments, to be honest.
Yeah, fair. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It seems to have hit a peak and it's coming down a bit, but all these things do, like they go in like swings and roundabouts or whatever, little bits of roller coasters, and this is just a little bit of a downturn. I'm sure they'll be able to pull it back up again once we actually figure out sort of what the next direction is. But I mean, Jimmy hasn't joined forces with Roman, so you can still do something with those two while Jey's out, and there's still ways around this, so we'll have to wait and see where they go.
There are. But speaking of SummerSlam, obviously there was a lot of stuff that went down on SummerSlam. One of the bigger matches on the night was Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes. But we've just learned now, over the last couple of hours, that Brock Lesnar actually didn't come out of that match completely unscathed. He actually picked up an injury early on, and that's similar to Roman Reigns, who apparently picked up an injury early on in his match with Jey Uso. So everybody just really went for it at the start of their SummerSlam matches and got hurt. So take your time, people. Take your time. It's hard stuff, this wrestling malarkey. So he, according to Dave Meltzer, like they said, he was like injured. It's in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. They said he was injured pretty early on in the match. And then he also revealed, I believe, earlier this week that Lesnar would now be gone for a while after the whole like Rhodes trilogy. And he was originally scheduled to appear in a PLE, I think in like towards the end of the year, maybe one of the upcoming ones. He was originally scheduled for that, but now Dave has confirmed that that's no longer the case. And he kind of speculated that it's probably going to be around WrestleMania season that we are going to see Brock again, which is fine for me. I'm quite happy with that. I don't mind having a few months off from Brock as well, because I mean, when he comes back, he feels super special. And just as another little side thing, Brock was also, even though he's injured apparently and he's hurting right now, he was on stage recently having a sing-song with a country music star who's known as Zach Bryan. Sorry, Zach Bryan, I don't know who you are that much. I don't really listen to country music, but he was on stage with his cowboy hat on, singing along, just doing his Brock thing. Just never change, Brock, never change.
Yep, Country Farmer Brock is the best version of Brock. Just is. But obviously get well soon to both Brock and Roman. But I think with all of these things, a little bit of time off, like figure things out again, come back with another story. At least the Cody Rhodes like trilogy like got a final ending to it. So yeah, I think it's just another Brock Lesnar thing. Go away for a little bit, come back, you'll be just as crazy monster over as ever, and build up to something big at WrestleMania.
Brock Lesnar, finish the story. Do it.
Not that. So back to AEW to sandwich this news, and they have announced Fight for the Fallen. Now they've moved it up quite a lot this year because of the wildfires in Hawaii and all of the proceeds from these events are going to be donated to the Maui Food Bank for victims of those wildfires in Hawaii. So they've moved it up. It's all going to be next week in Nashville and Louisville, spread across 3 nights. So it's going to be on Dynamite, on Rampage, and on Collision. The matches announced so far is Orange Cassidy defending his international championship against Wheeler Yuta. We've got the Gates of Agony versus Darby Allin and Nick Wayne. We've got Bunny versus Britt Baker in that sort of tournament thing to figure out who's going to be in the women's match at All In. We've got Kenny Omega's sit-down interview with Jim Ross, and we've of course got Jeff Hardy versus Jeff Jarrett in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match. Obviously. So yeah, 3 big events coming up next week. Nothing announced yet for the Rampage or Collision, but I assume they will be announced on Dynamite, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Fight for the Fallen is going down next week.
Yeah, so the first thing is brilliant that they are doing this, and all those proceeds are going to go to helping everybody who's affected by these fires right now. That's awesome. Just an awesome thing. That's the most important part of this story at the end of the day. It is. It's awesome. So great for Tony Khan, great for AEW for doing that. On the booking side of things, oh my goodness. Jeff Hardy, not Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Hardy. What are we doing? What are we doing? He's been, back properly now for a couple of weeks, months. They kind of eased him back in with a few little matches here or there. Get his nice little Young Bucks match, and then throw him right in the middle of a death match with the guy wielding a guitar, and who's going to smack him in the head, and it's going to be probably it's making my brain just crack in half, this, because we need to wrap Jeff Hardy in cotton wool right now, not be maybe putting him in these scenarios. He's a grown man now. If he feels he should be in this scenario, who am I to tell him no? But as a fan of watching wrestling and not wanting people to be hurt and look like they're in any danger or peril, this is going to be an experience. Let's say that.
It will indeed. The Battle of the Jeffs. But that is the news. Thank you very much. You can follow us over on Twitter. You can follow me at FillMyChambers, and you can follow Gareth.
Follow me at GMorgan04.
And click this video down here somewhere to carry on your watching journey, because YouTube really likes it when you watch loads and loads of videos. So click it, watch it, have a lovely time. Most importantly, have yourselves a bloody good day.
Bye.